Eddie Muffin will say, good morning, my neighbor. Good morning, my neighbor. Wherever you are, from Joe, GRA, D-Line, Rumokuta, everywhere. Good morning. Okay, so nice to have you on another wonderful time on Good Morning Port Harcourt. Like Francis has said, is where we keep you up to speed, the trendings in Port Harcourt. And I tell you, we take you around different sectors, different area that is happening in Port Harcourt. And today
is going to be a true reflection of good things to come for all of us in the city of Port Harcourt. So I quite agree with you when you say that good morning Port Harcourt, and how are you doing in Ozoba, Choba?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because we talk so much about what's happening in Port Harcourt. And by the way, this program is actually brought to you from the studios of NTA Port Harcourt Network Center. Of course, we love to hear from your comments and social handles and all that. I love to hear from you. But speaking of trending,
something happened recently, and I've been studying the traffic situation around Port Harcourt, especially the Choba NTA axis.
Okay.
And I realized that there are some period of time that you just go out and then there's so much traffic hold up here and there. I was attributing it to some spots actually being bad, but later on I know that the school this season has a very important role to play too, especially between the hours of 1:32 to about 3:30. You see that there are holds up here and there. I don't know about your own area. And then also education, I was beginning to think what else in that aspect will really keep us bothered. When I realized that in Cross River State, for instance, there are some policies and reforms that were made in the education sector, and also Anambra, that pupils shouldn't write on textbooks anymore.
Yeah,
so
it's a trending issue. I actually, I worked on Facebook where I saw a lady, a parent was actually lamenting. She brought out textbooks and was like, back in the days, we used to have how a sibling will use a particular textbook in maybe the first session, the next sibling will use that same textbook. But over time, there's a transition, there's a change. Now we don't have that. We have schools that make you to use a particular textbook for just that session. Your siblings is not going to use it, it's not reusable, and it's becoming a big challenge.
Yeah, while I was still very young and growing up, I know we had our own personal library where I inherited a lot of books from my father once. But now the trend has really changed, and there's this consensus, especially among parents, who are really frowning against such a development. So I don't know the policies that are being put in place, or some kind of consideration that should be put in place so that this should be checked.
Well, that's why Good Morning Port Harcourt, that's why we're here. We're going to take up this feature. When we come back, we're going to be dealing with the issue of textbook and reusing of textbook in our schools. Don't go nowhere. It's Good Morning Port Harcourt. We'll be right back.
Driven by innovation and rapid change, unlocking imagination and nurturing creativity in our children becomes a crucial endeavor.
Come and stand on the red color of the mat.
Mimi! Yes, Daddy. Yes, Daddy, I'm here. Here. I'm going out now. By the time I'm back, I want to see this house clean and swept. Do you understand? Yes, Daddy. Yes. Beep, beep, beep. What am I going to do now? Daddy's back. Can we start? Why is this place like this? Fast. No talk. Get out now and go to the field and cut all the grass. After that, you are grounded. Do you understand me? Yes, Daddy. Go now. I don't want to see anything.
When you look at the back, it is already covered. When it's facing this like it was. The lower parts, you're going to flip it this way and then bring it this way. Going to make that sequence. The same thing that will happen to this side. So my choice is here. The right hand side across. Okay. Taekwondo. Well, this is my finished work on this, and I'm so happy that I'm able to make this on my own.
Children are the leaders of tomorrow. Give them good education. Children are the leaders of tomorrow.
These creative, imaginative qualities not only enhance their cognitive development, but also equip them with the skills needed to navigate an ever-evolving future.
Creative activities would help the children to work together, meaning that they do things with one another, and so they understand the need to take turns, they understand the need to wait, they understand the need to work with others. It builds interpersonal relationship. Creative activities will also provide an environment of exploration that will spark curiosity, and this is where critical thinking comes into play.
In what ways can parents explore the fascinating world of childhood creativity and nurture the boundless imagination of their little ones?
Creativity and imagination is the hub on which human endeavors thrive, and for parents to do that, first they need to be available. Availability of parents at the onset of their children's life is very critical and important.
Exposure to nature's beauty is another wellspring of inspiration that sparks curiosity, observation, and imagination in our little ones. To unleash children's imagination and creativity, parents must limit digital engagement and encourage real-world interaction with their children.
Exposing our children to books, reading with them, talking things over with them, having discussions, you'll be able to identify areas that you could help these young ones.
Just time to bond with these children, and you end up seeing one or two things that could be a pointer in the right direction, showing you exactly where your children have their creative strength and ability.
To develop a total child, here is what experts say.
You have to get them some items like paint, your poster color, the plasticine, clay dough, and papers, and the rest, pencils, and everything, and encourage them.
Parents also need to expose their children to technology-rich environments where the children can also explore, because these children are digital natives, and the world of technology is their natural environment right now.
Remember, every child is a unique artist waiting to paint the canvas of their imagination. So, allow them to design a masterpiece that will inspire generations to come.
If you're just tuning in, it is Good Morning Port Harcourt, and right about now, like we told you earlier, we're going to be talking about the issue that is biting some parents, and that is the issue that is rising up in our educational system as regards to the use of textbook. I cannot overflow it. The issues are just overwhelming. Back in the days, we know how you can use a particular textbook, one sibling to the other, one section, academic section to the other, but right now we don't have it that way. So many things have changed, and not just to bore you with so many thoughts. We have somebody in the studio that we want to hold to ransom. She's here to tell us a lot about this issue, what prompted it, the evaluation of using of textbook, just not reusing it in one session to another. We're here to know details about all of that, and that is in person of Mrs. Ibat Gladys. Good to have you, man. Good to have you. She is the administrator of Gemstone Montessori School. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Good Morning Port Harcourt.
Thank you.
I would say welcome back to our studio.
Thank you,
I think the last month we had a very detailed conversation on our ability we'll talk about, because it was still related to the educational sector, where you really kept us abreast with the happenings in that sector.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, let's shoot straight up. the issue about the use of textbook, not just using it, but not reusing it like we used to have it back in the days. You know, Edit Go to School, Macmillan, all those stuff. Why? What prompted that transition?
Okay, like you mentioned it last time, and I said we have to look at it holistically.
Yes.
You know, when you have a problem, you make research about it. And while making research, you have to find out what are the factors, who are the persons involved, who is really affected, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. You know, back then we used to inherit books from our senior ones. And now it's no longer happening. A lot of things come into play when it comes to that. First of all, who are the people? Who is this inviting? Basically the parents. Exactly. So it's like we are looking at it just on the parents' angle. Have we thought about the children? How will they feel about it? Back then, you will notice that when you inherit a book, maybe for 7 years, yes. You know, like, there's no personalization. You don't, oh, it's not yours. It's handed over to you. So, we'll have to look at it first of all, what are the advantages of that? And before we now look at it, if the advantage outweighs the disadvantage, well, yes, it's a good thing that we have to continue. Then another thing I want us to look at, you know, the quality of things going down these days. Okay. The quality of books we used to have then, the paper quality, you can't compare it to what we have now.
The issue for me, they are saying it's not really about whether the texture of the textbook, right? It's actually the fact that it cannot be reused again.
Okay.
So that if we are saying, inside. So if we're here establishing the fact that this thing is an instruction from a policy that was initiated, that was put upon you people to accept, which you cannot question, we can establish that.
And therefore, like I said,
yes,
the curriculum is being redesigned from time to time, and then from year to year, they change these textbooks. So you have to go by that. Then the point I also want us to look at is that we are looking at it in one angle, the cost. We are trying to save costs.
Yes.
I think that's the main angle. That's the main angle. And parents are complaining. And now, why don't we look at it in other areas?
I'm actually curious.
Like pride of ownership. In a class, you need to see the excitement that comes with giving out a set of textbooks to a child. They take it with so much joy. Their faces will light up as you hand them over their collection of textbooks. Okay, let's have the first child in that class, which is the first child of the family, receiving that set of textbooks. And then you have another child who is the second child that has to inherit from the senior one.
You know I'm smiling because I'm like, that reason is actually, in my house, I know back in the days, my parents will literally tell you know that is the system. So
that's why in my conversation I think mentioned as culture, because they invite the kids with that culture, that no matter what it is, take care of the books, your younger one is coming to inherit it, and that child has that consciousness.
We also know that
of course there is some kind of pride that will come with it.
Times have changed and children have to, you know. Back then, your mother just had to look at you and then you understand the language. It's not like that now. Children are no longer that way. But the parents are okay, you have to go back to join.
Okay, let's go back to you as an administrator, because you are also, I want to believe you're also doing this now. When you evaluate this transition that is happening, if you evaluate it, thus far, if you look at it, how will you see academically, does it reflect on is there any way it reflects on the academic performance of the child?
Yes, because already if I receive a book that has already been used, maybe my senior one has minted on the book already, and then I'm coming now, I want to use that book, you understand? I will have to want to use my own ideas to go through it, having my own mindset. I will not have, well, I'm not talking about the workbook where you are written things inside. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about maybe a book that you have to, maybe you're reading, call it a literature text, You're reading, you have to read it on it. Your senior ones have already done that, and you're picking up the book. You're also reading, you have your own ideas you want to put there. You start erasing what your senior has written, but you have your own original idea. So, but when you are confined to go with the idea that is already minted on the book by your senior ones. So there's no personalization there. That's the way I'm looking at it. I think another way I'm also seeing this is that parents are thinking that the schools are adversaries.
Yeah, because that's the way they are initiating.
Yeah. So the best thing is not to look at it that way, because that's not exactly how it is. The schools are not against the parents. There are so many things parents will pay, will invest money on that are even more trivial than textbooks, but they will not complain about it.
Okay, now let's go to the content of the textbooks we have these days. We quite agree that tech has become the thing of the day, and it's moving at a tremendous speed. And what you learn today is quite different from what you are going to see the following week, because the technology just keeps advancing, talking about AI and all that. And as an administrator, what policies or recommendations will you put forward to ensure that our kids, especially here in Nigeria, River State of course, move with the speed of those kids who are in the West?
That's why it's good to catch them when they are young. At an early age, like when we be in Gemstones. Ours is just a primary school, not a primary. But as early as that, we start them with tech, even from pre-nursery. They go to the ICT lab to know what this is, and they have a song with part of the computer and all that. So we start them at that age. And we also do coding and robotics, where they can even do programming. When you groom them that early, it's easier for them to flow with the tech world. So my key is that they should start early, guide them young, and it will be easier.
So the textbooks we have these days, is it really giving us what we want?
Yes, it is. It's giving us what we want, that's what I would say. And the area I want to clarify is parents thinking that the school is against them.
Yes, I really want us to, it's very important.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
They should know that the school is not against them. I think the best way to go about it is to, like what the government is already doing, the federal government, they have streamlined the number of subjects. So it's to streamline the number of textbooks. That's what schools are doing. That's what we are doing. Streamline the number of textbooks so it will be easier for the parents to buy. Because I don't actually advocate, inherit, because I know the excitement that
you don't advocate inheriting and it don't work.
I was inheriting that it won't work. Not in this age and time.
I think states that have changed this policy, like no more writing assignments or materials of any sort on textbooks.
And it's working.
Are you saying it's not going to work?
Probably in government school it may work. It may work in government school.
No, I think that it's an issue that the government need to, whoever that is responsible for what we're talking about, because when you look at it financially, the parents, it's actually biting them.
And like I said, there's a solution to that.
Yeah,
Use the number of textbooks,
okay,
and make it easier for the parents.
So what that means is every session, every school session, that means they're going to buy the same books for another kid in a different session.
Yeah, because basically most of them are workbooks. We work inside the book. Although there are some textbooks that have 3 workbooks that go with them. So when you're inheriting now, you still have to buy a workbook, right? But some of these books, they come in pair.
Exactly.
They come in pair. So the publishers, the sellers, they don't want to sell just a workbook for you to use.
And then you're forced to just
buy the books.
So if you're to advise parents out there, with the situation that we're seeing now, what would be your advice as an administrator?
You just manage the trend. I know they
manage the trend.
You just manage that's it. Because I'm just the possibility of that working, like I said, if you have for example an English textbooks, an English textbook order, and then you have a workbook and a textbook. And then I've used the workbook. My younger one has to inherit the textbook. I can't go to the market and buy just the workbook. They want it to be in pair. So how do we solve it?
Let me give you a scenario. While we're talking about it, just very brief, a colleague of mine, we're talking about it. Imagine I have my child in your school, and the child is supposed to buy this textbook and pass it on to the other sibling, and I give my child the instruction that you see for this one, don't write in your textbook. I will go and meet your teacher, will write in your normal notebook and take the permission of the administrator to run this thing so that your sibling can also use as an what would be your take on this?
It depends. Some schools,
because we're looking for solution.
Yeah. Some schools have a policy whereby you pay a particular amount for a set of textbooks.
Yes.
And when you pay 10, 8 textbooks, that amount you are paid covers that. And there are some too that sell in the single books.
Yes.
So it depends. If it's a school that they are only selling book as you come, you give me one book and you take it, then that can work.
For you, how will you take that?
For me, well, you guys are understanding. I relate fully with my parents. I feel their pulse. Like I said, I don't think parents should see schools as adversaries. They're actually friends, helping them out there. So when you see them as partners, you'll be able to work together. You can have an understanding. Like in the school system there, it's not everybody that's doing the same field, not all fingers are not equal. So if you come with your own challenge, I can easily understand with you and work along. Because we are partners.
Now, why this conversation is so important is because there are a lot of reforms sweeping across the educational sector. And when you try to get conversations or contributions from especially parents, they keep talking about this textbook issue. So I know your own point of view differs from most of them that I've had this conversation with, but I still think somehow there should be a level of
balance, exactly. Like allowing parents, some parents,
considering the economy and all that. Don't you think there should be a kind of flexibility?
Yeah, there should be. That is what I'm saying. But I think what I also believe is that it has not been looked at holistically. How the child, back then you don't feel much. The children these days are not like our time. You understand? We don't deny them their rights, and they don't fight for it. They frown at it. So you look at the children. Sometimes a parent can buy something that is even more expensive than 10 textbooks for a child without blinking, without even feeling it. So why is there so much emphasis on the textbook issue? You know, or maybe like a career day. A parent can want to hire a costume down. I don't
want to expand this conversation because I think that talking about reforms and policies, a lot is really cutting across, and we reach a general consensus from some states, I keep referring, that are frowned against that Karate and graduation ceremonies that become so lavish that parents begin to compete amongst themselves. I know that some states have been totally banned because of such issues cropping up. So what do you think the standard should be? Should it really be accepted that maybe a child graduating from maybe nursery 1 to primary 2 should really celebrate with the graduation gown and all that?
It's actually the graduations that don't
it don't have to do with the parents, you know? But I was not excited with these the little ones, even more than the senior ones. You understand? So if there's a policy that we should stop that, what are you graduating to? You're just really breastfeeding and you're graduating. So, but you know, it's fun, it's excitement for both the child and the parents. I think Francis is not seeing it that way.
No, I know it's
Francis is not seeing it that way.
about competition. This is an avenue to really show class and style, and so persons are really intimidated by this. Yes. And because of that, this train of trying to meet up so and so parents or so and so people. I mean, it's I won't say I find against it, but let's just leave it open.
But right now, I want to appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll wrap up on the discussion, and thank you very much. Why we cannot to do enhance our educational system. We call you more because from what Francis has said, there are still some things to talk about these informations and all that. So many, even lesson issue of the water. That will be a discussion for another day. Mrs. Ibat Gladys, Administrator, James Stone Multimedia School. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Okay, everyone, it's Good Morning Port Harcourt. The program is still on. Up next, we have our energy segment by Queen Tom Queen. We'll be back.
Hello and welcome to this segment towards a greener future on the program Good Morning Port Harcourt. My name is Queen Tom Queen. The issues associated with fossil fuel and renewable energy as regards its effect on humans and environment cannot be overemphasized. So today we will be looking at renewable energy, the effects, impact, and the way out to solve the problem of incomplete combustion and other forms of issues associated with fossil fuel. I have in the studio here a guest from the University of Education talking about the lecturer who lectures with the Department of Petroleum Economics, Faculty of Social Sciences. He is no other person than Dr. Saturday Ode-Pele. You're very welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, River State. Good morning, Nigerians.
Nice to meet you, sir. So we're talking about renewable energy. And I think we'll start with the basis, understanding what renewable energy is all about, because even a layman could be watching and wanting to learn something from that. Before we go into details of our discussion, what exactly is renewable energy?
Okay, thank you very much. A concept, renewable energy, is the solution to the problem of climate change. You've been hearing about climate change. Climate change is caused by 4 pollutants. And those pollutants are carbon dioxide emission, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. You know, ideally, when you turn on your car, the combustion that comes out settles up there. Those are the issues that result to climate change. So now, when you talk about renewable energy are the way out, are the solutions to the problem of climate change. Now, let me come. At first, we have what is called hydro energy. When we generate energy from water, it is regarded as hydro energy. Okay. We have what is called solar energy. Energy that is generated from sunlight, it is regarded as solar energy. We have wind energy. We have also what is called biomass. Those are forms of renewable energy. So the way out of climate change is renewable energy.
Okay, so can renewable be interchangeably with sustainable energy?
You are very right. Because sustainable energy, those are energies that stand the test of time. For instance, Nigeria depends solely on oil for decades. At first, they depended on agricultural produce before the discovery of oil in 1956 at Nollywood. Now, if you visit the sites, the well where oil was discovered, you realize that there is no drop of oil in that well, telling you that crude oil is not sustainable. It is not a sustainable energy because it does not stand the test of time. Secondly, in 1958, oil was discovered also in Afan. That is the second well that was discovered in Afan. Now, the question is, do we still have the rates we discovered years back, it has dropped drastically. So that is a pointer that crude oil is not a sustainable energy. Although it has sustained the Nigerian economy. Because now, when it comes to the billions of naira we earn, you know, everything has its own good side and bad side. In terms of revenue, it has helped. But it's not a way forward. Because globally, there is what we call sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals number 7 talks about clean energy. So in that category of clean energy, you have all these renewals we talked about. We talked about solar, we talked about wind, we talked about biomass, we talked about geothermal. All these ones are the way forward.
What are the benefits of renewable energy and how do we generate this kind of energy?
Thank you very much. The benefits of renewable energy are enormous. It is uncountable. It is environmental friendly. Let's take for instance now, if you have a generating set that is servicing this environment, only the noise pollution you cannot contain it. But when you have a solar powered energy, you realize that the environment will be serene and it will be very calm. Not taking out the health benefits, because if you inherit the flames, you realize that it will impact negatively on your health. So the benefits that are associated with sustainable energy are uncountable. And I want to encourage the government, the private sector, the business community to ensure that they harness these opportunities, because the opportunities are endless. Let's take for instance, if you are into the manufacturing of solar, what you need is sunlight. The sunlight you have in your area and the sunlight I have in my area will give us what we want. So the government should look into it as a way forward.
So what role exactly do you think the government has to play in terms of giving us sustainable energy provisions and making it get to every door, to everyone, so that the aim and purpose for this sensitization will be achieved?
The government should reduce the burden of tax on companies that are engaged in renewable energies. But if you want to encourage me going into a production of a particular thing, there's what we call subsidies. You have to ensure that these companies are given some leverages. Now, we have so many forms of giving enlightenment. So many persons are not aware of what is called renewable energies. You understand? We have to ensure that even the rural areas are being enlightened on the issue of sustainable energy. Because if you look at the issue of sustainable energy, one, globally, there is what Nigeria signed. We call it the Paris Agreement. Nigeria joined the Paris Agreement in 2015. Now, the essence of the Paris Agreement is just to cut down fossil fuel emission. So the moment you increase the rates of renewable energy production, you are fulfilling a global mandate.
What are the challenges posed on sustainable energy?
The initial cost of getting solar panels, which are source of the renewable energy, is quite expensive. Note the initial cost, but over time you reap the benefits. You know, at times when we talk about wind energy, there are countries that are not privileged the way Nigeria is. We have sunlight. We have river bodies everywhere. Countries like Saudi Arabia, they don't have river. So when it comes to benefiting from hydro energy, they won't have it.
Can you, in one word, advise stakeholders, the citizenry, everyone on the need to look inward and choose renewable energy as a solution and for the situation of environmental issues?
The way out of fossil fuel emission is renewable energy. And the moment you venture into renewable energy, one, the tax rate will be reduced because the government encourages renewable energy. Now you are fulfilling a global mandate, not only a national mandate. There is a global mandate you are fulfilling. The Sustainable Development Goal number 7, you are fulfilling that one. The Paris Agreement, you are fulfilling that one. Then there are some other regulatory bodies here, you are fulfilling those ones. So the government will be pleased to have you as a partner.
Dr. Saturday Ode for coming on the program. I really do appreciate your presence and I hope to see you next time for the continuation of this discussion because I know it's not over. There is so much to talk about.
Thank you for having me.
We've been talking with Dr. Saturday and it's been on renewable energy, the need to look inward and see how we can delve and spread our tentacles towards delving into renewable energy cannot be overemphasized, following its impact on lives and the environment. Well, the program Good Morning Port Harcourt continues in a jiffy.
Thanks, Queenette, for keeping us up to speed on the energy segment on energy. Up next, we have this very interesting personality with us here in the studio who is going to be handling us and keeping us up to speed on the entertainment industry in Port Harcourt. And I'm talking about no other person than Lalibi.
Yay!
Well, I can see you. I don't know what to say. The choice of blue, your outfit is really lovely.
Thank you.
I really commend it.
You see how I'm hailing you? I'm like, hey, Lalibi in the studio.
And then, of course, we don't have just you in the studio. We have another personality with us who happens to be, could I say, her husband, if I'm going to expose this in time. And it's no other person than the person I prefer to call Dante.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
This is actually the brain behind. You know how some persons work behind the scene, while those of us they just take the front stage, center stage, are those that make it happen.
Okay.
When they don't press the right button, it doesn't work.
Okay.
That's him here.
Okay, so let's start with you. Let's know what's really happening in the entertainment industry.
As regards what you have, you are a guitarist.
Yes, I'm a guitarist, and like I was saying, you just have to get better. So it's more fine-tuning, improving on yourself. You know, there are a lot of we are now in the jet age. You know, the AI, and so you don't have to. You're gonna do this where you have to go analog. We are going digital, so we're just in the updating ourselves to the recent, happenings.
So does AI have a link with playing of this or
yeah, like AI is coming in with, digital, like it's coming in with another part of it, like making sure that we are not useful, but we want to tell them that we are the raw material. You cannot just, shove off the stage. We are the foundation. We are the foundation, so they are just going to lay on top of us.
There's this thing about music which has really kept me ongoing over the years. I'll say music is like food to the soul.
Yeah.
Because somehow it just keeps feeding me and energizes me. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is sing. And then, of course, even in prayers, I have this music stuff fused into it. So people may see music from different perspectives. I want to know your own perspective. How do you see or perceive music, especially good music like this?
Yeah, good music. I feel it's just like you can't stay without food. So music is life. It's something that if you don't eat of it in a day, you don't survive. So to me, so how long have you been playing this? To be precise, 18 years. Wow. Yes, 18 years. That's long.
So before we move on with you, let's shift over to your husband.
Yeah.
I
call him the man divine.
Let's know a little more about you, please.
Alright, so my name is Dominic Carafena, and like you've already said, I'm a husband, and let me hype us more a little bit. Yes, she's a wonderful woman and a lovely voice, can always help you stay strong when you're down, and she sings, it just brings energy back to you. So personally, for what I do, I'm a husband for one, and then for work, I'm a solar solution consultant, basically, so that's what keeps me going.
Okay. When it has to do with supporting her, especially I'm sure when she goes for her programs and all that, how do you manage the whole time?
Yeah, so I would say that it's divine, by privilege. I am independent, so it's not really difficult to be by her side. Okay. Yes, I have a preference for family. So whenever there's a move, a call that she needs to move, I make sure. I don't think I've ever put them in the boat, Uber.
Wow.
So whenever there's a move, we all go together and we make sure we're together in it. Yeah. So I think it's the privilege of the kind of work I have. Even if I was a 9 to 5, maybe it would have been different. So I guess it's divine.
Okay. Now, recently, we've really been trending, not just on the normal media space, but also in the social media space, where you have these projects going that people have really been talking about. And I will call you upcoming because you've been doing your thing for
18 years. 18 years is not.
Yeah, 18 years.
18 is not.
It's not, and you have your story to tell, and now you are taking it to a different level. But we're not going to rush it. Let's start. For those who want to listen to you once again and know your story, how come music? How did it all begin?
Okay, thank you very much. I actually came from a family of music. My dad and Dr. Panapasipo and Nollywood started gospel music, so we're just like the contract family. So we're 5 girls and a boy, and the 5th daughter, and the boy is the only boy. So I go with music every morning. Okay, we have different parts. My dad brings us up. Okay, alto, trap, so we were all singing. So music was part of something that we do daily. So when fast forward to when I finished my secondary school, my dad gifted me a guitar. He was like, out of all my siblings, all my children actually, I'm saying something new. So he gifted me a guitar. I never knew anything about guitar. I only watched on the program, Asha, and I'm like, wow, a lady can play the guitar. And which was more like a motivation to me. And when my dad gifted me a guitar, I was just like, after secondary school, not knowing what to do yet, just in the house, and then just strumming. No one taught me guitar, that's the truth. And there's one thing about knowing how to sing and one thing about having music ears. So in that process of, staying, those years, I actually developed what called music ears, and I built it. Wow. So practicing daily till fast forward to 2012. That was the first time I went to a radio station. Stayed there with Dad, He actually played me live. I went to the market and he told me, please come on, play a song for me. Yes, Daddy, because I love my dad so much. And I picked up my guitar and I started playing, and that just it. I sang the Loud George, and I just okay, Daddy, I'm going down to the kitchen, and the rest of them were like, Randy, me at one, and I'm like,
Then what's going on? He said, I'm tired of hearing you. I can't just hear you. The world needs to hear the voice. And that was the first time I went to radio station and the song said, wow, really? Truly. You are not this talent. So that was how I came out. And from just Facebook, I had like 400 followers. In a day, I had like 2,000. I have. In a week, I had over 5,000. It was owned by them, and people just wanted. I was like, wow. So I didn't know during the process. It takes a lot of things. In the night, I was always playing rehearsals. You know, you can't just come out. I tell people that don't use heartbeat. You can't just come out anyhow. There's a process. Even gold passes through fire for it to fine tune. So if you want to get the best, if God has invested something in you, He is a good businessman. He must invest in it. He must reap. So I was, without light, I'm playing, so I can close my eyes for 8 hours just playing guitar. Okay, I was going to play the guitar for us. Okay, so I just want to motivate someone out there. It's just start. Don't just feel that I've lost my youthful age. No. There's always a starting point. Yeah. There's always a starting point. So I believe. Singing, at some point I felt myself lighter because the music kind of took me to a different level. Really inspirational, your song, and I got fascinated when you change your keys, when your voice was like I know that this also is skill. There are some persons that would love to delve into this. When we look at the commercial part of it, do you use it, as a source of income or something? Yes, I do. I do a lot of training. I train people in instruments, and people are like, I just want to be like you. I'm like, okay. Sometimes I tell them it's the determination. So you can say, I want to do something, but you have to put in your energy. So I'm not in the business of not giving back. I'm in the business of training someone and seeing that gift going. So I'm only looking for serious students. Within a month, you can do it. I tell them you can do it. So if I could do it, you can do it. So what are you doing? Let me call you that because as a family, I know because I'm well informed. I follow them on social media and we're always interacting. There's a project you are handling actually supporting young talents. Please, can you talk about this briefly?
Alright, so over these few years, we've as a couple, we've always had the passion to give back, so what we call life seeds. So we've always, prayed and hoped for inspiration where we can actually do some real giving that would bring forth life. So a story, like you already observed, is quite unique. But for every success one makes, you must always realize that there was a spark, something that helped you achieve. On the left, this person is a thief. On the right, this person is not. There's something unique in their lives that helped this person stay afloat in a trying world like this, and also something that made this person fall. So just maybe if the opportunity this person received, he was open to share it with the other person, just maybe they were at their hope. So you really can't give what you don't have. So in her life story, that gift of a guitar was like a spark. It's what drew her close to music, kept her to know God more, and this is where she is now. So we thought about it that let this gesture be a token of what we can give back to the world. So the project is focused on gifting guitars to teenagers. We're tracking teenagers because they are the ones that are tackled by all the distractions. Yes, we talk about, you know, a whole lot, that the teenagers are going through.
So you're going to schools?
Yeah, so we're tracking through schools, SS3 students in particular. They're about to go into the higher institution when all of these distractions are imminent, and we hope that gift can help open a positive path for them too.
Good one.
Interesting. So, do you have anything to say to that?
Just to wrap up. Okay, well, this project has begun and it's not stopping. Every month we're going to be hitting schools back to back to ensure as much as God wants, because He's the one leading us, and He gave us the vision. So we have gotten the first guitar today. We're going to get the second one. We are hitting schools back to back. On the 31st, we are going to continue. Yeah, on the 31st, we are hitting the first project, and from there, we're moving states to states to states to states. So we are not relenting. We are hitting up the teenager. Like I said, catch them young. So that's our motto. We are catching them. Thank you. Thank you very much.
For coming. You are a regular place here, no doubt. And of course, I commend you, the husband, for the support you've been giving to your wife. And we notice anytime you come around, he's always by your side. So I'll say thumbs up to you, bro. So Fana, what's up?
Yes, we're wrapping up. This is a wrap up on the program. Good morning, Port Harcourt. You see, it's been really informative, educative, and entertaining. But we want to say that at the end of the day, we're here to update you on the trends in the Garden City in Port Harcourt. Just keep being there. Keep, like Lady B said, keep putting the effort. It's one step at a time. Well, join us same time tomorrow for another package on Good Morning Port Harcourt. But we're not going to leave you while we wrap up. Francis, let her give us a tune.
Sign out with. So let's just sign out with something.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hey,